have this login component. Let's create a clean login component here. I will just create an export default component function, and this is login component. Now in this we are returning, so we are returning a simple presentation, and here we will design so a data term, some username, and the data definition. So we have input type text. Okay, now I will just use n tag is enough here, and here I am using password and data definition. So we have input type is equal to password, right? Now here we have a button, right? And we just added as login. Now here I am defining a simple heading as user login, and let's put, because we are using already container fluid, and here we are defining a checkbox. Let's keep a div here, yeah, and class name as form switch. And in this we have input type is equal to checkbox, and here I will put as dark theme, and here yeah, we will put the class name as form check input. Yeah, this is the login component. Let's start this login component. That means we are accessing the login component and displaying. This is the login component. And when I select dark theme, that theme must be applied to this entire form. So we want to apply that theme to that entire form. That means dynamically we want to change the style, right? Then how you configure that? How you can dynamically change the style? Actually, this is all in a container. Suppose this is all in a container. And in this container, we need to change the styles dynamically. That depends on this checkbox. Depends on the checkbox. So how do we configure? How do we define here? We need to write an event for this checkbox. So how do we handle that? So handle theme change, right? Handle theme change. This handle theme change. So this is the function, right? It is a function, handle theme change. It will take the checked property of this checkbox. That means we will define on change, handle theme change, and we have to get its checked property. That means we can configure here a state. Let's configure a state. We are defining a constant, that is theme, and we have set theme is equal to use state. And this is the state, and theme is an object. Theme is an object. You can just configure as an object. Now handle theme change. What should happen is we have to set theme. In the theme, the object will be using the property. What is the property? Background color. So we have to define the property. Property is background color. What should be the value? So the background color value, the value is suppose black. Background color value is black. That means that is the option we are configuring. And here we are defining color is white. So we are defining so these options and specifying. Now very important, this must be applied when the checkbox is checked. That means this depends on a condition. If e dot target dot which property checked, if it is checked, then theme will be applied with this. If not, that means if it is not, then we will use set theme. Dynamically we are changing it. So dynamically we are changing here, same background color we will set it to white, and the color we will set it to black. That's how we are configuring. And this theme should be applied as a style for this object. That means the div contains a style which will come from theme. That means we are configuring that theme here. This is generally the dark theme, it will apply to that. We can add a lot of other effects, right? So that means this is applying the theme for this. Actually, we have a lot of things to define because it is a container. I am using another option like width. So width is suppose 200 pixel. We have padding is suppose 10 pixel. right? So that the same thing I need to configure. So width and padding I need to configure for this. That means when you are applying, it will apply the theme, right? So 250, right? Because we have the container with that size. So it will be fine, right? So it will be fine. It will display this. I'm dynamically changing the effect and configuring. We can apply the classes or we can apply the styles. So why you need style binding? We need style binding just to handle the situation of changing the effects dynamic, right? We can apply through classes or we can apply through the styles. That is the example. So how we can configure the style binding? This is one example. So you can try the same with the classes also, how we can apply a class dynamically to that particular container, depending on what you have configured. Because actually, if I want to apply this through a class, we need to apply this through a class because already we have Bootstrap working. If already Bootstrap is working, so here we can just put this, here we can just put class name. Class name, can we get a dynamic value? Class name will come from theme. Theme is using the class name. That means it can be style or it can be class. That means a theme is a class. But in that case, you should configure this as a class. That means this theme is not as an object now, because class is just a what type? String. Class is a string type, string array, right? It is not an object, right? That means it is just a string type with multiple classes separated with spaces. It's not an object type. Then we have to configure the theme as this. And if it is checked, what we have to do? We have to use set theme. It is a string type, right? What is the theme? It is expecting a string. So we will apply bg dark. We will apply text white. We will apply padding 2, right? We will apply W25, that is width 25. This is a string we are applying. The same thing we will apply here. So we will put set theme. So this will be BG light. So this will be text dark and other options are same. This time we are changing the class. We are changing the class dynamically, right? Here also same effects. That means width. Suppose I said 50, depending on how much content you are having, and it will get that, and we can apply that dynamically. This time we are applying the classes dynamically. So why you need class binding and why you need style binding? So that we can change the styles dynamically. We can configure and change the styles dynamically. So for that you need this option. This is an example for the same with class. Dynamically applying the styles and dynamically applying the classes. So much is there in event binding and data binding. But as a developer, we are not satisfied with this type of approach to handle the forms. Why? Because lot of event binding techniques, lot of references we have to configure. Now, to handle this situation, to overcome this problem, we can depend on third-party forms. That means now React can use third-party forms. By using those third-party forms, we can make this simplified. Data binding, interacting with the data, collecting the data from the form, we can make it simplified. So for that, you need to know how to use the third-party forms. Forms, validations, how to configure. That we'll see next session.